The holidays in my family played out like a sadistic television special, like Christmas with the Agamemnons. My mother taking on the role of the slighted, maligned Electra to my grandmother Panky's passive-aggressive Clytemnestra. Every gift we opened was punctuated by one of Panky's backhanded compliments or helpful suggestions. She'd say things like, "Well, I thought about getting you a size smaller, but I didn't think you'd fit into it." Or an opal, "Sweetheart, thank you. Shouldn't have. I'll never wear it." Merry Christmas. Christmas 1982. My mother had made me wear an itchy green cable knit sweater and a pair of even itchier red wool plaid pants that she called my Scotch pants. I so wanted to call them my I could use a Scotch pants. That year, what I wanted more than anything in the world was a Cabbage Patch Kid. A little boy with a name like Trevor Angus or Stuart Matthew. Preferably a preemie, but I would settle for anyone blonde like me. I didn't want anyone questioning if I was the father. We sat around our overly tinseled tree, opening our gifts, underscored by the tinkling sounds of ice cubes hitting the sides of glasses like a wasp carol of bells. And soon the floor became covered in balled-up wrapping paper and Snoopy Christmas cards. My mother opened her gift from Panky, an empty wallet. She's still angry about it. And that's the last gift. There's nothing left under the tree. I turned to my family and I said, that's it? That's all there is? In front of me sat a pile containing the Chronicles of Narnia, a clock radio, and a Nerf basketball. Look, I don't want to seem ungrateful. These are all fine gifts. But they weren't for me. I mean, really, I could have cared less about the lion, the witch, or the wardrobe. And the clock radio wasn't even a kid-friendly one. It didn't look like a rocket ship or Hello Kitty. It was one of those ugly, flat, fake wood rectangular ones. And what kind of lazy grown-up gives a 7-year-old an alarm clock? Like I'm supposed to wake myself up for school? A Nerf basketball. That's just idiotic. Nerf balls are foam rubber. That's their gimmick. So by design, they don't bounce. I got a basketball that I could not even use as a basketball. How the hell was I supposed to dribble it? That's what it's called, dribbling, right? My family had once again given me the gifts for the boy they wanted me to be, not the one I was. I was a boy who waltzed through the streets pretending I was in an MGM musical. I would literally sing in the rain. At the beach, I would try to dig to China, thinking that if I dug far enough, I would find expensive plateware. I was a weird kid. And the kids at school let me know that. There were birthday parties I wasn't invited to, Valentines that weren't signed just so I wouldn't think they actually liked me. The whole thing was ridiculously Charlie Brown. Everything I said or did seemed to go over their heads or was too quick for their little kid minds. And they banished me to the swing set, feeling like a child refugee from a Noel Coward play, complete with imaginary dinner jacket and martini. According to my parents, it was my fault. I didn't try hard enough to fit in. My parents were divorced and they hated each other. But the importance of fitting in, of being seen by everyone else as normal, that was something they could agree on. My mother lives like the heroine of a Tennessee Williams play. A faded beauty clinging to her bits of finery and memories of a family fortune depleted by the generation before. There was always a gentleman caller for us to impress, and no matter how charming and vivacious she was, no man was going to take care of us unless I was less artistic. And my father lives in a world awash with blue blazers and bass weegeons, Thanksgivings at the Jonathan Club, ski trips to Vail. There was a code I was supposed to live by. But they were wrong. I did try to fit in, like really tried. If only so I could be invisible. I wore all gotcha and Quicksilver just like the other kids. I tried to talk like them, but the words never sounded quite right coming out of my mouth, and the clothes always looked a little askew. I could fool people for a while, but eventually my real self would pop out, and I'd be too dramatic or too emotional or behave in a way that threatened their idea of what I was supposed to act like. My wants were always nipped in the bud. I wanted a Care Bear. I got a Matchbox car. I wanted a collapsible top hat. I got a baseball glove, or a bat, or football, or skis, or a tennis racket, or golf clubs. When Trevor Angus or Stuart Matthew wasn't underneath the tree that year, I wasn't surprised. I knew boys weren't supposed to play with dolls. They made that clear to me. I had a secret stash of dolls that I stupidly kept underneath my bed at my father's house. A small collection culled from the girls I played with or stolen from a daycare center toy box. A strawberry shortcake with no hat or tights. A Barbie covered in magic marker tattoos, and an armless Ken. When my father found them, he threw me across my bedroom, ripped my shirt, and grabbed the nearest thing he could find, a bamboo cane from my Charlie Chaplin Halloween costume, and he hit me with it until it broke. Hitting a kid with a stick is W.C. Fields, not Charlie Chaplin, really. But I was a boy who played with dolls. I didn't care about fashion or hairstyles. That's not why I did it. I played with dolls because I craved a deeper connection to people. And the games boys played were all about competition or war, all about winning. The rules were so rigid, and for someone like me, so someone seemingly incapable of following rules, they were deadly. I almost always dropped the ball or caused our side to lose. I was ostracized. The dolls weren't about winning or losing. They were about relationship, about people coming together and creating a world more exciting and glamorous than the one we lived in. And there were no rules, no right way or wrong way. For me, it was a chance to escape. I could be anyone. I was Ken, I was Barbie, I was Holly Hobbie, I was the Purple Pie Man. Inside me, I found anyone I needed, and I was never alone. Besides, I was really good at it. Way more imaginative than the little girls I played with. You know, they had Barbie getting ready for a date. For me, Barbie was flying to London on the Concorde and meeting a poor but attractive truck driver who knew nothing of her world and giving up her lucrative modeling career for love. It was strawberry shortcake, 16 and pregnant. In deep conversation with Blueberry Muffin about whether she should tell Huckleberry Pie. I needed them. My dolls were taken away, and I'd secretly give my Matchbox cars lives and personalities, and sometimes hair. And no one ever knew my little green army men all had wives and children back home. Except for the one on the phone, because he was obviously gay. I had so many stories, so much life inside of me just aching to get out. Years have passed, and I'm still a weird kid. And you know what? Thank God. I grew up thinking my imagination was a curse, but it's actually my greatest gift. I see kids running through the mall, little girls in tiaras and boys with painted toenails, and I get jealous. I was supposed to be free to be you and me. But as a kid, being me seemed to cost me everything. I sometimes wonder who I'd be if I had parents who let me run around in a cape or didn't make me wash the face paint off, who said, "Fuck those other kids, you're special. Don't ever forget it." But I didn't. What I had were a few plastic friends and the ability to imagine a world where I belonged. My imagination is how I survived. Growing up, it helped me create everything I needed, but never what I wanted. When I was 7, I wanted a Cabbage Patch Kid. For the same reason those 12-year-old girls on Maury Povich get pregnant. I just wanted to feel loved.